So I have myself a reel-to-reel unit, but I thought I'd go absolutely overkill when I had the option to Rive. And that's why I've gone to this. Now, what this is, and it's rather amazingly dismantled form right now, is the Lyric TR532 24-track 2-inch tape unit. Record and play. This is studio quality equipment here, and it's heavy. It's fantastic. This is an amazing piece of equipment here. 15 and 30 inches per second. Here's a little beat up there, but I'll get onto that. But how the hell did I get a hold of one of these behemoths on wheels? Well, what happened is that about 8 months ago now, someone I know was walking by a scrapyard nearby where he works, and he noticed there's a bunch of 35 millimeter film editing equipment. Now, there's no way in hell he could actually bring that home, unfortunately, but he saw this, and he asked about it, and they basically sold it to him for the weight. So he paid an undisclosed amount of cash, and he held on to it, but this is Vancouver. Space is very expensive, and he had to move. And as the downsizing occurred, he had to get rid of it. So he asked me if I wanted to buy it, because I was interested, and I was really jealous that he got it. And a deal was made. I gave him $200, loaded it into the car, which was an amazing feat. The wheels had to come off and all that, but managed to get in and drove it back up to Kamloops. And here it is now. And there's a lot that needs to be done to this thing. Coming out of a scrapyard, it was rather heavily abused. And for example, I'm just going to show you like the bottom of the meter shelving here. This whole aluminum plate is just totally bent to hell. There's a rather nasty ding right there too, but that will be bent back into shape and probably have to be riveted or secured somehow, because there's no way I'm going to get that to look perfect again. None of the cables were cut, and I did get the remote control with it as well. The wheels and all that are in the other room, but the machine is complete otherwise, and other components were safely packaged. The heads were also covered over with the cardboard protector when I transported it. I didn't want to get those damaged because, well, I have one shot and I don't want to lose it. All the electronics are in here. The doors in this thing are ridiculous. They all have to be secured, or they don't have the right screws. Some of the connectors here you can't see in the dark light, but like this one here, there's supposed to be a plastic shield over the metal pins. That's broken off, so oh well, but it plugs in fine. I'll figure that out. And here on the tape unit itself, like, there's never grab it from that, by the way. There's like, is that a footprint that was on here at some point? Someone was standing on this, but in the back here, like, the whole section of the power supply is bent out, that I can see nothing's damaged. And yes, that is 24 XLR connections for input and output, so that's 48 connections total. It's ridiculous. The amount of cabling and plugs on this are just absurd. My God. At least it's all modular, and it's 220 volt rated. I might actually replace this connector here with a proper higher amperage connection, because the last person I know plugged this into 120, just nothing happened, and meh, I don't know. I'll never use this thing with in a 120 volt circuit or room. It has just over 4,000 hours of use on it, which again you can't really see with this camera, but yeah, 4,000 hours of use. And internally, that I've been able to tell so far, it's in okay shape. This is really heavy, and it's trying to rip my hand off, so I have to close it, but that's in okay shape. But the one thing that concerns me is, why is the head assembly so loose? If this is loose and I've lost my alignments, I'm gonna have to find an alignment tape. That's not cheap to do. I didn't get any tapes with this, but I did get the spindle for a 456 reel, so at least I have a take-up reel, and now I can head off to eBay to find a used reel or something like that. Might have to bake it or something, but I've seen some reels on the eBay for like 30-40 bucks, and that'll be worth it for what I want to do. But for the heads, God knows what I'm going to be able to do there. I popped the cover off, actually, and I noticed none of the adjustments here have their paint I don't know, would you call it Loctite? Anyways, this is all intact, so the alignments, when it's attached to this top plate here, are fine. It's just that these bolts here have come loose, and I can secure those down again, and it will be nice and solid, but will it be aligned? I don't know, we'll have to find out. But this is going to be my winter project. Yeah, I assume there's going to be a fair amount of work involved on it. I gotta check those giant capacitors, which are right there, and that was the top plate flying off. But I'm hoping those are okay. There's some rather amazing dates on here, like 1973 for the motors, and there's these rubber gaskets here are okay. So it's been out in the weather, but it looks like I was lucky enough that even though it was in Vancouver, there isn't like corrosion on the heads or there's like heavy rust. It's just filthy. It'll need a lot of cleaning. It'll need a lot of work. But I'm assuming that when I'm done here, I should have something that is usable. And that'll be really fun because many years ago I received a pile of Pro Tools audio equipment for Macs, New Bus Macs. And I also received with it a Quadra 950. I have enough of the DigiDesign New Bus DSP cards that I could do 24 track, but I only have one of the 888 24 IO boxes, which some people may consider absolute crap, but that's the easiest way I could do 24 track on a 68040 Mac. It would be absolutely ridiculous if I could do that. But the potential is there because I have a lot of the hardware. I have the cables. I just need 2 more of those I/O boxes, and we should be ready to go. Yes, I have the software and dongles. But yeah, that's going to be my experiment. And this, in its unassembled form, is my new tape recorder.